All right, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, and this is Smell Goods. Appreciate you coming through, hanging out with me for a few moments as we just kind of talk about this stuff, this fragrant juice that we all seem to just love and appreciate. I'm talking, of course, about the smell goods, the fragrances, the colognes, whatever you want to call them. We're going to talk about it. All right, this is my fourth week, I think it is, of doing my weekly rotation. So this is where I kind of take note of what I've worn throughout the week, kind of comment on it, and maybe you'll pick up something that, you know, maybe you want to add to your rotation, what have you. And yes, to my guy Kevin that was in the comments last week, we were the two best smelling Kevins in the country last week. Definitely appreciate it. All right, so let's talk about this past week. For me, this was a week that started off in San Antonio. I was in San Antonio on a ministry / visit that I wanted to do, hanging out with a friend of mine. My wife and I were together. So Sunday was a church day. So we went to church, and then we went and had dinner, and then we went to church again, but this time in a different city. A friend of mine, he has two churches, actually has a couple more churches, I think, but definitely two churches, one in San Antonio, one in Houston. So we went with him, of course, to Sunday morning service in San Antonio. Then we drove down to Houston. So I needed a fragrance that was going to last, that was going to basically be there the entire day. But it also was a good opportunity for me to check out something, give it a full wear, full test. And in fact, there is a review, I believe, that I've done on it already that I'll link up here. I am talking about from Yeoman Lail. We're talking about Oud of Passion. This is their take on Oud Maracuja. And you start off with this fruity passion fruit and rose, and then it gets down to this leather, amber, vanilla, and along the way there's some oudiness in there. This is just a unique blend of the deep, warm woodiness, combining that with the brightness and the juiciness of the fruit that's in it. This makes this a very captivating scent. This is a scent that definitely, it's a good, very fragrant scent that, in my opinion, works very well. Pops off my skin, and as I mentioned, because I was doing all that traveling, it lasted a good long portion of that day. I don't think I had to, well, I did reapply a little later in the day, but for the most part it was there throughout the entire day. And that was probably just me because I had probably gone nose blind to it. I wanted to respray just because we were going into a new environment. All right, but for Sunday, that was Yeoman Lail Oud for Passion, or Oud of Passion, I should say. All right, then Monday was a travel day, and it started off a lot earlier than I originally planned. Originally, we were supposed to leave out of San Antonio later in the evening. That way we could kind of hang out, what have you, but there was a storm coming in. And I don't know if you know this by now, but I'm allergic to snow. Yes, I grew up in Chicago, grew up knowing full well what winter was, but now living in Phoenix, I am allergic to snow. I break out in hives, and I break out in flights to get away from snow. But anyway, yes, we got up early that morning. Well, really, we went to bed really late. Then we got up very early that next morning to catch a 6 a.m. flight that we had kind of readjusted our schedule and times for. So we got on a flight. And for me, whenever I'm traveling, whenever I'm hopping on planes, I don't like to wear things that are very complex. I don't like to wear things that are very what's the word? Complex is probably the best word. Fragrances that may be polarizing. I don't like to do that just because I recognize that I'm in a tin can flying above the earth at, you know, however many miles per hour a plane travels. So I try and be respectful in that respect, but I do want something that's going to be there, something that is going to, you know, still give me that boost that I want, that I need, and still smell great. So I wore that day. I wore from the house of Amaj. This was Amaj Reflection, or Reflection Man. This great manly scent, very fresh, very nice, clean. Opens with rosemary, pink pepper, and then it gets down to this woody patchouliness at the bottom. This right here is just a floral, woody, aromatic fragrance that just works. For me, as far as what I've smelled from Amaj, this is probably the best one. Now, if you're looking for something that's in that range, as far as that smell, that scent profile, but like, look, bruh, I can't afford them Amaj prices. Just as a little hint, this Shiaka Red from Lodge. There we go. Let that focus. This is a nice approximation of it. Not a one-to-one, probably in the 90 percentile. But this does a good job. Again, I just brought this out just as an added bonus, but what I wore on Monday was the Reflection Man. All right. Then Tuesday and Monday being a holiday, I didn't have to go into work, of course. Tuesday was a day that I had to go into the office. So Tuesday I was like, you know what? I'm gonna break them off with a little layering combination. So I pulled out one of the layering combinations that I discovered kind of early on in my journey. And that was the combination of Bade El Oud, the black bottle, Oud for Glory, and layering that with Bade El Oud Amethyst, or just as I call it, LFA Amethyst, which this is their take. This black one is their take on Oud for Greatness, Permanent Initio. This Amethyst is their take on Atomic Rose by Initio. Combine these two together. It was a magical day. It was a wonderful day. Smelling great. The spice off of the Oud for Glory versus the nice rose and the nice rose scent that comes in the Amethyst. This worked as a nice combination that if you ever want to play around with fragrance layering, this is something I recommend you maybe want to check out as just a nice layering combination to throw together. All right, so that was Tuesday. That was an in-office day. All right, Wednesday was day. I don't know if we had anything major going on. I know I did some running around, but Wednesday we pulled out the Ralph's Club, the Elixir. Now this one starts off with cardamom, grapefruit, lavender, and ends up with patchouli and leather. This is, of the Ralph's Club line, this is my favorite one. I have the Parfum back there. I've put nose on the, I think it's the EDP, put nose on that as well. I prefer the Elixir. The Elixir is more of a bolder scent to me. It is more of a heftier scent to me. The others are very nice, soapy, clean type of things. This one is still got that cleanness, if you will, but just adds a little something extra to it, which I think again is that patchouli and that leather on the dry down that just takes this up a notch for me. So again, on Wednesday, that was Ralph's Club Elixir. Ralph's Club, the Elixir. All right. Then on Thursday was around the house day. Just threw on something, just went kind of eeny, miny, mo on my collection. Wasn't really going anywhere. It was going to be around the house day, but still wanted to throw something on. And for that, we pulled out the AFnan Supremacy Noir. AFnan Supremacy Noir. Now this is a take on, from what I understand, Bottega Veneta, which I've not really smelled, but this does remind me a little of the, what is it? It reminds me of the Bentley Absolute for Men, the black bottle. It reminds me of that. This is a very woody, very mature woody scent, very dry kind of woody kind of fragrance. Yeah. So now I'll just say the performance on this, not that great, but it is, if you're looking for a nice, mature, woody fragrance, and if you also know what Bottega Veneta is and something you're looking for, I guess you can try this out. I've never tried out Bottega Veneta, but this right here, decent smell. Again, a very woody, very mature, woody kind of a fragrance. All right, that was Thursday. Friday was going to be kind of another day in and out, running around. I know that evening we were going to grocery shopping, all that fun stuff, but I wanted to give this next fragrance a full wear, and I know I've done a review on this, or at least a first impression on this, and this is from the house of Lattafa. This is Terak Intense. Terak Intense. Now this one, saffron, plum liquor up top. You've got tonka bean on the dry down. This one, now this is a compliment getter. We were in Sprouts, I think it was. Yeah, we were in Sprouts getting cards, or we were going back in. I forgot what we were doing, but either way, we were in Sprouts, and my wife and I were figuring out what we wanted, what have you. And we had stopped someplace, and someone came up behind me, and she was, going someplace else. And she was like, "Oh my goodness, you smell great. Appreciate it." She kept on moving. I kept on moving. And so this one right here is just, this may be one of Lattafa's best fragrances, at least of 2024. I know it released late 2024. And that's saying a lot because they also released, what was it? Vintage Radio, I think, in 2024, and a few other things. But this is a good fragrance. Very, very phenomenal type of a fragrance that definitely leans middle of the road. Really is very much a unisex fragrance. I could see my wife wearing this, and I wear this. It puts me in the space of, but it's not a clone. It's not trying to do its thing. But it seems to be, in some respects, and it's kind of weird, but it seems to be kind of in the space of Lattafa Camra. Same house. This one just is not as cloyingly sweet. And when I say cloyingly, I'm not saying that Camera is a bad one, but the Camera is very much a sweet cinnamon toast crunch type of a fragrance. This still has the sweetness, but it seems to be a little more mature, a little more refined. But that was on Friday. Friday was Lataf's Terak Intense. All right, and then Saturday was a day, little running around here and there, nothing major. It's starting to warm back up here in Phoenix. I think on Saturday we were in the 60s, maybe 70s. So I just wanted something that was going to be, again, another light, fresh type of a fragrance, something that was not going to be overpowering, not something that was not going to be very heavy. And so we pulled out the John Varvatos Artisan. This starts off with orange and tangerine with a little ginger mixed in there. And then it dries down to this musky, woody fragrance that just works. Again, John Varvatos is a fragrance house that I like a lot of their things. Performance could go kind of either way. But if you know where to shop, you can get these pretty reasonable and reapply as needed. But Friday was not necessarily a day I was just out, I was really doing a whole lot. So throwing something on it if I need to reapply, in and out with the house, whatever, perfect. But that was, again, Saturday, and this was John Varvatos Artisan. All right, that's it. I think that's it for pretty much what I wore. I know I of course tested some stuff, but that's what I wore pretty much as far as the full day of each day this week. Let me know what you kind of wore, what your thoughts were, and what you put on your list, what you are maybe interested in and haven't tried, or have put your nose on it like, yeah, that doesn't work for me. Appreciate it either way. As always, do me the honor, do me the favor. First, do me the favor of staying safe, staying sane, and staying smelling good. And then do me the honor, if you have not already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, request notifications, and then share. Meet me in the comments. We'll see you next time. Have a great one. Be blessed. Peace.